Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Rashi Himalaya and today I want to show you my favorite blushes in fall that I've actually used a lot during fall. So I'm going to show you what they look like. By the way, I'm filming a little bit in daylight today, so you might just see the lighting change. I just thought let's try something a little bit different. But let's talk about blushes. So the first ones I want to mention are actually not blushes. These are eyeshadows. So these are the MAC Powderkiss eyeshadows. So I got this earlier this year and I love them as eyeshadows. And one day I thought, wait a minute, they apply so beautifully on the eye. Perhaps they're going to apply the same way on the cheeks. And absolutely, like look at these shades. They are so stunning and they look stunning on my skin tone. So I'm going to use one of my favorite blush brushes, which is the Goss number 14. This is a very loosely packed, very fluffy, airy blush brush, which means that whenever you're picking up blushes that are very pigmented or these eyeshadows that are pretty pigmented, you're not going to go in with full opacity. Oh, look, the sun is coming out. Let's have a look at the first shade. So this is called Sawhort right now. This is a beautiful, sort of like a deep coral color. It's really stunning, and I'm just gonna pick up some on my brush here and show you what this looks like. I'm picking up very little product because I don't want to overdo it from straight off the bat. I'm gonna go in a little bit stronger just so you can really see that color. Look at that beautiful, almost like a deep burnt coral shade. It is so stunning. I love this for the eyes, but honestly, I've been using this specific shade as a blush a lot. It's beautiful. Check that out. Perfect for brown skin. Because these are powders, they last a long time on the skin. They don't really budge. Very long wearing. I love it. Cute. My beautiful girl. Oh, no, not the S. Come on, not the S. Go. Oh. Where is it? Ah. She loves the hairband. Next up, I'm going to show you the MAC Powderkiss eyeshadow in the shade Devoted to Chili. Like a burnt, deep, reddish brown color. So just for comparison, Devoted to Chili is definitely a lot darker to Sawhort right now. So just going to show you what that looks like on my cheek as well. This one definitely shows up on my skin like straight away because the color is a lot deeper. You do have to be careful if your cheeks are a little bit too dewy. So if they're very dewy, if you haven't really set your makeup, these eyeshadows will give you a little bit of a patchy application. But if you've got powder on your face, then you'll be just fine. But they are so soft and blendable that even if they stick to your skin a little bit, all you can do is just buff them out with your brush and you'll be fine. So if you do already own these eyeshadows, give them a go as a blush. Next up is the same eyeshadow but in the shade Lens Blur, which is this very pretty purple toned eyeshadow. This is the shade Lens Blur, a deeper sort of a purple eyeshadow that I've actually also enjoyed using as a blush. Now, next up, I want to mention Nars. So Nars came out this year with a new blush. This is the shade, I don't know how to pronounce that, coeur battant. And it's so beautiful. Look at how vibrant that is. So just comparison between the two, this is the difference between the two. Lens Blur is a little bit more muted, more of a deep purple tone shade, whereas Coeur Battant is just a very bright, almost fuchsia blush. It's so stunning. If I had to pick between these two, I'd pick this one. This is so stunning. And I'm gonna pop this on my cheek. And Nars blushes, I mean, they're amazing. So, you know, anytime you buy a Nars blush, you know you're never really going to have issues with it. It's so beautiful. Check that out, so stunning. And with a color like this, you can apply it very softly, or you can really just amp it up and have a very intense application. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit more just so you can really see that color. Nars blushes are also great under a mask. They don't really budge. I mean, powder blushes are generally a good option for under a mask. Nars coeur battant. So beautiful. Yes. Especially when you want that rosy pink tone cheek that really stands out. This blush has been my favorite. Look at that color though. I mean, seriously. Whew. Next up, I want to mention Charlotte Tilbury's blush in Walk of No Shame. I have to mention this blush. This blush is so stunning. I don't know how she made this formula because it's a powder blush that has a satin finish, so it's not matte. It definitely has a satin finish, but it looks so flattering on the skin. You don't see any shimmer on the skin. You just see this glow. It's incredible. I wish more of her blush formulas were actually this formula because I would probably go and buy every single one. That's how amazing this is, and I can't wait until she releases more blushes with this formulation because whew, wow. Now I've done a video showing you this blush, so I will link it in the description box below. It's the Walk of No Shame video where I've review other products from the Walk of No Shame line, but this blush, hands down, if you're wanting to buy a Charlotte Tilbury blush and you haven't tried one before, this is what I recommend. It's stunning. It really is. Next up, Patrick Ta blushes. These are hands down probably the best cream formulation that I found this year. So Nudestix, for example, I love Nudestix blushes, but these ones, oh, I think these like really take the cake, and I love that you get two different options. So this is the shade She's So LA, and it has a cream side and a powder side, and I've used this blush so many times, especially if I'm doing a dramatic eye look and I want just a little bit of a nude cheek. I will either layer the two together or I will just use this shade right here. I've also used other powder blushes and then layered the cream shade on top of that. It's stunning. This looks so beautiful on my skin tone. I highly, highly recommend. This is the shade She's So Single and She's So LA. And the next shade from him that I've been really enjoying is the shade Oh She's Different. This is a beautiful berry tone shade. And with this one, it's great because this cream shade is slightly different to the powder. And so it gives you a slightly different look if you use these separately. And I've often used the powder on its own. It's very pigmented, so it really shows up on my skin. And then the same goes with the cream. If you just want a light wash of berry on your cheeks, using the cream on its own, it's stunning. So these blushes, highly recommend, specifically these two shades. During fall, I've been using them a lot. Again, I've done a whole dedicated video to Patrick Ta blushes, and I've swatched all 4 blushes on my cheeks, so I highly recommend you go watch that to see what these look like on my skin. I will link the details of that video in the description box below, and I'll also pop it at the top. Next up is the shade Quarters from Colourpop. This is their Super Shock Cheek Satin formula. This is so gorgeous, and I always tell myself next time I'm going to do a Colourpop order, which I don't do very often really, this is the formula that I really want to pick up more of, because this is the only satin shade I've got from Colourpop, and it is stunning. I mean, just look at that. It has a little bit of a shift to it. I'm sure you can see that on camera. There we go. It has this beautiful shift that on the skin looks so incredibly stunning. It doesn't have shimmer, so when I pop this on my cheek, you can't see any shimmer, but you see this glow and this shift between this peachy shade and gold, and you have to get it. If you're gonna do a Colourpop order, you're gonna have to pick up this blush. I mean it. It's stunning. And I normally like to apply this blush with a stiffer brush, something that you would use for a liquid blush or a liquid foundation. So I'm gonna use a Goss brush in 01, and I'm just going to apply that on my cheek so I can show you what this looks like. It has a little bit of a moussey texture, and that's why a stiffer brush like this is better, so you can really pick up that product. And then I'm gonna stipple it on. Can you see that? And then pop it on my cheek. And those of you that love like a peachy gold blush, this is stunning. And the gold isn't really intense, so I just want to mention that it more or less looks like a peachy shade on me. You don't have a lot of gold, but it just had that little bit of shift, that little bit of interest, just makes it very different to anything else that I own. A beautiful formulation from Colourpop. And because this is a mousse, it's kind of like a hybrid. It's not really a powder blush, but it's not really a cream either. It is an in-between. This is what quarters look like. Now I know it's a very strong application, but that's so that you can really see the color on camera. I will, of course, would have included a swatch of this so you can really see what it looks like against my skin tone, but it's really, really beautiful. Yes. Oh, I think you can see sort of the shift on that blush right now. Can you see that? Stunning. Next up, I'm going to mention two MAC blushes. I've got the two shades here in Raisin and Burnt Pepper. These have been with me for a long time now. So these are blushes that I've been using probably at least for 2 years, if not longer. They're so stunning, you guys. I mean, check it out. They just make me so happy. Again, perfect under mask. And this shade right here is called Burnt Pepper. This, I feel like, has a little bit of it has an orange tone, but also has some pink in it. I'm pretty sure this has a little bit of a pink tone, almost like a scarlet tone to this blush. It's really beautiful whenever you want that warm cheek look. I think you guys have seen a trend in today's video. I have really been gravitating towards either warm browns, you know, peachy shades or pink shades, because I do generally wear a lot of these blushes. And then you've got Burnt Pepper, which is, wow. If you're brown, you need this in your life. I mean, just look at that color. It's so stunning. It's a beautiful mix of a deep reddened brown, and I use this for dramatic eye looks as well. Even though it's so pigmented and it's so dark, it actually works beautifully if you apply just a very light soft wash of this onto the cheeks. So let me first swatch for you what Burnt Pepper looks like on my skin. You see that? It's super intense, and I really, really love this brush. Can you see that? It's just so intense. This is the shade Burnt Pepper. Look at that. I love MAC powder blushes. They're so amazing. Just like Nars, they just give you great payoff. They last a long time on the skin, and they're very easy to apply. So this is the shade Burnt Pepper. I know it's looking a little bit patchy on my skin, and that's just because I forgot to set my foundation. So as I removed the previous blush, I put in a new layer of foundation on my skin, but I didn't really set it with any powder. So this is the shade Raisin. This is the same shade that I used in my Get Ready With Me, and this color is so beautiful. Again, ignore that it's looking patchy. And that's only because I've got layers and layers of foundation underneath. Because as I'm removing them, I'm only removing the foundation just with a tissue paper. And then I'm putting on another layer of foundation and then showing you the cheek swatch. So all that layering are causing the powder blushes to look patchy. But please don't think that these blushes are patchy. They're not. It's just because I'm doing a lot of cheek swatches right now that it's looking like this. But I really just want you to focus on that color. That color is stunning. Look at that. Yes. Yes. So that is the MAC blush and Raisin. Next up, I want to talk about Shiseido. So they revamped their line and they came out with quite a few new products. And one of them were these blushes. And again, you're seeing the theme here. This is not an orangey blush, but this is definitely a deeper scarlet brown shade. It's so stunning. It's quite similar to Raisin, but Raisin is definitely more brown. You can see the difference between the two. Raisin is more brown, whereas this one is more red. This is a mousse formula, so I am going to use this brush to apply this blush. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this mousse just on my finger, and I'm just going to tap it. It's very pigmented, you see that color? And then I'm just gonna blend it out with the Wayne Goss brush. Oh, so pretty. This is another blush that just stays put for a long time. It doesn't really budge. It's super easy to blend. I mean, you just saw that. It was very, very easy. Oh, just look at that color. It's so pretty. Whew. I love my warm blushes. Seriously, they flatter me the most. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. Now this blush does have very tiny specks of shimmer, but it's super tiny. You won't even be able to notice them too much. So don't let that scare you. Very, very finely milled shimmer that's barely detectable. And I really, really enjoy wearing this blush. So this is from Shiseido. Sorry, did I mention the shade? This is the shade number 6, Sayoko. So Nina wants some attention, so I'm just going to hold her while we talk about our next blush. Hey Nina, Mommy's not paying any attention to you. How cruel of me, huh? Okay, so let's talk about the next blush. And the next blush, I actually just want to mention to you guys the MAC powderkiss liquid lip colors. So these are amazing as blushes because they've got that very soft moussey texture. So if you have any of these, I reckon try them out as a blush and you will love it. They last a long time, they blend and apply so beautifully on the cheeks. They're just really, really stunning. Hey girl. I love it when she purrs and you know, you hold her and she starts purring. It's just the best. The best. Cutie. Okay, so lastly, I want to mention Nudestix blushes. So I just love these. They're amazing. They're just so pigmented, and what I love about these, they're not super emollient. So if you've got them on your cheeks, they're not gonna just move around or slip around, and they come in a great color selection. So I've done a few videos on Nudestix blushes, so you're welcome to check them out. I will link details in the description box below. But there's 3 specific shades that I've been wearing a lot through fall. One of them is Sunkissed, which is your bronzy type of blush, which works beautifully as a bronzer, also as a blush slash bronzer. It's stunning. You've got to check it out. I have done a swatches of this, so I will include details in the description below so you can check out the video where I do swatch this on my cheek. And same goes with these other 2 shades. Another one is Beach Babe. So Beach Babe is like a pinky brown. It's a muted version of a pink blush. It's so beautiful. Yeah, what can I say? And lastly, Sunset Strip. So Sunset Strip is your coral toned blush. You know I love my coral blushes, so this is no exception. fantastic. I really hope you enjoyed this blush video. I feel like I haven't done a blush video in some time, so I'm really happy to bring you this one. Now, the next blush video I'll be working on is to show you my top favorite nude blushes. So don't worry, that video is coming. And let me know, what are some of your favorite blushes that you've been using during fall? Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.